Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of The Road to Old School MTG. In this video, I have round 4 of the September Strike Old School Atlantic Tournament, held the day's time warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey, September 2024. This tournament was made in anticipation of the Lobstercon tournament that's going to be held in September 2024, a couple of weeks after this one. So this was the last chance for anyone attending to get games in a competitive setting, at least in-person games in. This ended up being a 4-round tournament, so this is the final round. I lost the first 2, I won the 3rd round, so I'm 1-2 at the moment, right? So pretty poor record at the moment, but I'm looking to hopefully at least turn it more respectable, maybe get a 2-2 out of it, right? That's the best I can do by this point. So before anything else, let me go to my deck tech. I am playing a Bantamgeddon deck or an Bantamgeddon type deck with blue in it for dibs and blue power. I have a good curve going with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 drop creatures. The usual ramp, all the Moxes, Black Lotus now that it's a card I've recently added to my collection. With Armageddon's balance could act as a quasi Armageddon as well. And then white removal for disenchants 2 swords. I have 2 extra swords in the sideboard as well if need be, especially for if I go against something like Disco Troll, where I want to get rid of a pesky creature that's regenerates, or just something that my regular creatures couldn't deal with, maybe Fusam or Mahamodi, something like that. I could bring in the extra 2. I am playing against a That Guy L deck. That deck is similar to my That Guy L deck for X Points. That's the one I'm going to be playing. This is for Atlantic. I am attending the X Points and the Atlantic tournaments. But my opponent is playing the full Atlantic version, so he has no limitations with points from X Points format. So he has available all the hymns, Mind Twist, the Money Tutors, the Moxes he wants, the Black Lotus, to his heart's content, right? So that definitely could be a tricky matchup for me. We'll see how it goes. We're starting with game 1. I'm on the left, opponent's on the right, no moles. So there's clearing to hit my opponent's side a bit. He gets a turn 1 law, so I'm not off to a good start. I need that Armageddon real bad. But ooh, there we go. I get a Tundra, Mox, Black Lotus, turn 1 Sarah. Okay, that's one of the best ways to deal with Law. Put in fast aggression, make him have to play a lot of cards to deal with the threats in play. So right now I don't know what kind of deck he's playing. He's just dropped the Law, which can be for anything, and City of Brass can be for anything, right? So although I know my opponent tends to play that kind of deck, but at the moment I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. I come in for an attack, so this is turn 2. I play a force, and then I get a turn 2 dip. So that's pretty strong. This Law is strong. I think it came in even stronger, which is really hard to do. It's really hard to outdo a turn 1 Law. But if I'm doing it at the moment. Turn 1 Sarah, turn 2 dip. He already got 4 damage in. He could potentially have 7 damage now. So turn 3, I think that's a Time Walk. He took a damage from the city. I think that's a Swamp that he played all the way to the far side. So because of the glare, it can be a little tricky. We'll see. But yeah, he's definitely played a Time Walk there. And he hit himself with the City of Brass. Let's see, he's making space. Looks like he's playing a land. So the ramp I got from the Black Lotus, he's kind of making that up with the Time Walk there. And of course, by the lower card draw ability. So he's getting 2 cards. Okay, he has 2 swamps now. He could potentially... Okay, so he's getting that draw. There's a good way to get back into it, definitely. He played Mox Pearl, I believe. Yeah. But I think I'm getting lucky. He's not getting his swords. I don't know if he plays terrors. Okay, now he's going to go get his swords. So he's terroring. He could potentially do a balance here, if anything. Although it'll cost him dearly. So he has 4 lands in play. He has to sacrifice 2 of them. And I think he has more cards in hand than me. So it's possible. Or he could just be getting a sword and then just dealing with one of them, and then maybe he thinks he has something for the other one. We'll see. I love the sleeves. Okay, he's getting 1 white. Ooh, interesting. I don't think he tutored for that. So okay, so he's gaining life little by little, right? So he gained the life from when I lost the life from the dip, and I cannot attack with the dip because he's just going to gain the life back. I can still attack with the Seraph. So maybe that's why if he had that Spirit Link in hand and he already had a swords in hand, then that's going to be with both. He just didn't have. Okay, he's taking the damage, so he doesn't have the swords in hand. But I think maybe he thinks with the Spirit Link out, basically my Sarah's only doing 3 damage a turn. Maybe he thinks he can deal with that. You know, he's willing to take that as opposed to 4 damage a turn. So ingenious way of dealing with the dip. But just to be clear, I can still get damage in, so we'll see. Okay, so here I played a land, I played a Chaos Orb, I played a Lion. So pretty good. So the Spirit Link is not the same as Life Link. In Life Link, I believe you deal damage and you gain life simultaneously, if I'm not mistaken. With the Spirit Link, what it does, it doesn't affect after you already do your damage. So first he loses 3 from the dip dealing damage. Then if he's still alive, he'll gain the 3 back. So if he's low enough where I can kill him with the dip with 3 damage, he won't be alive to get the 3 life back. Alright, so he played something. I just noticed the freaking Ancestral. Alright, so he got an Ancestral. At least he had to tap out on the City of Brass. Because yeah, now I have a Chaos Orb. So look at his lands. He's got 4 lands, maybe 5. I'm not sure what that glare card is. Because he keeps pushing things down. So he has at least 4 lands. His hand is stacked, of course, because he's been gaining life. Oh, well, my mistake, not life. Actually, he's been getting a little bit of life, but he's been drawing cards, and then that's letting him potentially get more possibilities out. Ooh, I had a balance and an Armageddon, but the balance was not in my favor because I have 3 creatures now. And the Armageddon I couldn't cast because he disenchanted a Mox, so here I'm coming in for 6. Ooh, he's taking. So he's like, I'm getting lucky here, definitely. The only thing that he's dealt with for my creatures in terms of. Okay, so I'm okay. So yeah, I'm like this. I was hopeful that I could get mana to do the Armageddon and then deal that way with the Loa, but since he discarded my Armageddon and my balance and my Armageddon, I'm like, okay, I gotta deal with it some other way. I would have preferred to keep that that Chaos Orb. Let's say he cast Send Your Vampire, right? So something that could block my creatures, I could still destroy. But I just hedge my bets here. Like, he's pretty low. I got flyers coming in. Plus, I know the trick about the Spirit Link. So he's gaining 1 more life next turn. He'll be at 7, but I'm doing 7 points of damage flying. So I could potentially win next turn. Depends what he gets. There's a Strip Mine there. So I've been really low on mana. I got the. Okay, so he's tapping something. Okay, so that's a scrubland that he has there. So 3 mana. Is he casting like a? Ooh, okay. So he's at 6. I mean, he was at 6. He's at 7, and now he's gonna be at 8. So if I attack with both, he'll still be at 1. So then he's not dead the next turn. All right, yeah, that did something. Okay, he's getting me. Yeah, I got really. Since I had that turn 1 Sarah, I kept that hand, but like it was not a good hand, and I'm getting lucky here. So I get another land. I come in for 4. He's at 4. So he's gonna gain another life. So he would be at 5, but I still deal 7 damage, and then I do the damage before he gains it. So I could win next turn still. He has 2 swords, my Sarah. Then he's more. Okay, so he plays a factory. So Scrubland, 2 swamps, City of Brass, factory. He just played it in a Mox Pearl. The Loa has been destroyed a couple turns ago, I believe. Okay, so he's tapping stuff and floating mana. So for a second I thought he was going to armor again, but he ends up doing a balance. So that's a sweet balance. So my creatures die. I only have 2 lands, so he has to sacrifice a lot. So here there's a mistake. I have only 1 card in hand. Since we were so focused on the creatures and the lands, totally neglected cards in hand. So he played that hippie. That should have been the only card that he had left, because only I have 1 card in hand. My turn, I take a turn, I draw, I get a time walk. By this turn now, I play second. I go into my time walk turn, and then I get a factory, but a few turns pass. So then I was wrong, and then I thought I had 2 cards in hand when he actually did the original balance, but I actually only had 1 card in hand. So, but you know, that's not his mistake. Like, we both thought I was at 2 cards in hand at the moment, right? So that's just to, you know, we gotta, you know, we gotta be aware of all these things, especially if you're the one, you know, being affected negatively by it, right? So that was his balance. I should have told him. It was on me to tell him, hey, only have 1 card in hand. You gotta, that hippie, that's the only thing you can do. The rest of your hand is gone. Right, but that's on me as well, right? So it's not on purpose. Still, I'm in a good spot here. He ends up, so the hippie, he attacked. He discarded the swords because I didn't have white. Now I have white. Right, so he kept the factory, and he already had but because of the pearl, that's, you know, he wanted to keep that factory there, which, I mean, he was at 4, so I think, yeah, that was wise. So he's coming in for attacks. I'm playing everything I have in hand as soon as I get it, right? Because I know if not, it's gonna get discarded. Okay, so here I'm attacking, I'm baiting him, and then I come in for the attack. So he's at 4, right? So if he just lets it through, he'll be at 2. He's debating, animating. He's animating. What do I have? Yep, I disenchanted before blocks. So then I come in for the 2 attack. So now he cannot attack with his hippie unless he gets another creature out. But he only has 2 mana out, right? He doesn't have double black. So I draw. Ooh, I get a Urnum. So now he has to deal with 2 creatures next turn. My factory and my Urnum. Either has to play another creature or deal with one of them. I had that balance for so long. And he could not do either one. So very, very tight game. I have 13 here, but honestly that's not reflective of, you know, I think it was tighter. Plus, honestly, I got pretty lucky. Like, I had that Sarah Angel and dealing so much damage for so long, especially against that guy L. They have swords and such, you know, like maybe even terrors. I'm sure he's probably, if he has terrors in the sideboard, he's probably coming into play right now. All right, so pretty intense game 1. We're going now into game 2. No moves from either one. Opponent goes first. Scrubland, Mox Pearl. If that was a Mox Jet, I would have been in trouble. So for me, I draw Tropical Island, nothing else. Okay, see, I choose some in hand, so let's see. Ooh, solid. So he sinkholes my land, I play one land, and I'm playing slow. So here, but thankfully I'm getting a mox out of this. But ooh, regrowth. Yeah, so I think I kept another low land hand. So nice. So he's got a Juzama, and I just got one land and one mox. Even if we get an Urnum, I'm in trouble. Actually, any of my creatures, I'm in trouble. I gotta get a swords. Ooh, there we go. I got ooh. So he gains 5. He's at 25. Anything else? Do I have a pixies? And yeah. So I ended up playing the tropical, same tropical that I got from the regrowth. So opponents have 4 mana. He's dropping another land, City of Brass. He has that pearl as well, so he has 5 mana open. He can probably cast whatever creature he wants. Ooh, second single on the same tropical, and he has 3 mana. He's taking a damage, 24, and he got a hippie. Oh man, that's tricky. I got a tropical. That's a new tropical. That same tropical from the graveyard, he destroyed it twice. This is perfect. I get that dib out right after he got the hippie. Oop, but I spoke too soon. I take 2. He comes in with the hippie, and he gets the discard. So he turned my dip. Ooh, he got a good one. He got a Juggernaut. I couldn't cast it, but maybe, let's say, depends what I had in hand. 3. Ooh, nice. I got a second dip. I just saw a Jusam in hand. So the dip can deal with the hippie. But what's gonna deal with the Jusam? Oof. So I take a damage on the dib. I see, yep, a factory. I could cast. If I have a Juggernaut, actually that's decent because he can trade with the Jusam if he decides to attack. Ooh, but nope, but I have a Urnum. So I could double block the Jusam and then only lose one of them, most likely the Urnum. Maybe he might decide to kill my Dib because that's gonna make his hippie pass. So he attacks, he took a damage to an upgrade. I believe I didn't catch that. But, ooh, yeah. Good, he knew he had that hippie in play, so yep, that's just what I thought. He killed my Dib instead of the Urnum. So I gave the tattooed hippie Forest Walk a come in for 4. So now I gotta play out my hand. Unless I gotta get another Dib. I think he has no cards in hand, we'll see. So I play a land. Lion, I got 1 card in hand. But if I'm using the white, I don't know what I have as a instant. So yeah, he's coming in for 4. I take it. Karma. Ooh. I won't have done much damage. Actually, he just has 1 swamp at the moment. So not bad. Alright, so his same tattooed hippie gets the Forest Walk. Animate 4, 6, 8. So that really cost him. I think he's at 11. So that's the best thing. Like if an opponent is coming in with flying, you can't block it. You just gotta come in through the ground with more damage, and then eventually he can't attack anymore because he now has to defend. Okay, he wants me to get rid of that. Ooh, nice. So I'm at 11. Okay, so I gave Forest Walk to the unblocked, to the untapped hippie, because then when I come in and he blocks, which he most likely will, now he doesn't have a creature that has Forest Walk. Most often than that, doesn't come into play, honestly. But every now and then it does, right? So that's why I've trained myself to look for these niche situations. All right, so he blocked the factory, but he still took 6. He's at 5. So he can. Okay, so he has Forest Walk. His tattooed hippie. I'm coming in for the attack. Yep, he's at 1. The Urnum is really getting through. So, ooh, he has to deal with 2 creatures. and yep, just couldn't. Wow. So another tight game, and this time, yeah, we saw Jusons, hippies, yeah, pretty intense, and yeah, I think the life again doesn't reflect the tightness of the game, but definitely happy to get the win. All right, so now reviewing my deck. This is the conclusion of the tournament. I will be posting some final photos from the tournament at the end of this video. But the conclusion to this tournament, I'm 2-2. Definitely mixed results. The game 1 was winnable. Game 2, actually, I could have won the first game against the deck, and then that would have made things tighter. And then if I lost the second game, right, the second game of that round, we could have gone into a third game, and then who knows who would have won, right? I have won against the deck, or at least against a similar type control deck in a tournament setting. So honestly, 2-2, the 2 losses could have potentially been wins. So yeah, so I think the 2-2 is pretty harsh in terms of how the deck actually did. And of course, I have myself to blame as well, since there could maybe have been a mistake at either game 1, it's definitely game 2. So I have to catch these things, be more aware, because Lobstercon is just around the corner. I may make a video reviewing my Lobstercon decks right before the tournament starts. Against this particular round right now, so I did put in the karmas. I got it game 2, but just so happens my opponent barely had any swamps out anyway. But I have won because of karma, so I think that's still tight, especially since this version of my deck has no black. Before I did splash black and had some scrublands because to get black for the Magnitude and Mindtools, right? Which is pretty common in Atlantic decks. People try to squeeze away to put in those 2 black cards, and previous versions of this deck did have that. But I just wanted to trim it down, be more streamlined in its mission of the 3 colors. So those 2 powerful cards are no longer in this deck. But then that just makes my karmas completely one-sided. So I think those are staying. It's more about how many. And not much to say. 2-2. I think I ended up getting like ninth place, so just a little bit out of top 8, right? So in Lobstercon last year, I ended up being 4-4, right? So this 2-2 is pretty. Is on brand for how I've done previously, right? So, but I'm trying to get some more games in, online games and whatever I can get as those final preparation opportunities. I will be bringing a few extra cards in addition to what I decide to, right? Because you never know, last second you may decide to do something else and then you don't have the cards that you brought, right? So basically I'll be bringing my 60 card deck, my 15 card sideboard, and then probably a good maybe 10-15 cards extra for both my X points and my Atlantic decks, just to have that flexibility of, in case I change my mind, okay, like these could be things that I change my mind to, let me bring them in just in case. You do have to submit a deck photo, so there is a point in time where you got to decide. You can't change it up anymore. It's the day of the tournament in the morning. So I have up to that point to make those final decisions. But I think the main deck is pretty good. I might switch 1 or 2 things, but it would be very marginal. The sideboard is definitely the big thing that I'm still debating on. But after a while, you know, you just tinkering more and more is just not going to result in much. So I think I've tinkered enough. The sideboard, definitely I'm still going to tinker with that, but the main deck, maybe 1 or 2 tiny little changes, maybe. But I'm pretty confident. It's more about just me getting, not making mistakes, and just trusting the decisions that I make, as best as I can, and then just of course knowing that sometimes, especially like something like the deck, sometimes you're just gonna get a matchup that you're not favored up against, and losing is okay. Actually, losing is always okay, right? So doing the best I can. We'll see how it goes. I'll try to post either videos, take photos, whatever I can do to capture my experience in Lobstercon this year, because last year, since I was new, I didn't want to I was too shy to like take photos, take videos, things like that. I was still the new guy. So I think I'll make a bit more of an effort to get more of the feel for that particular tournament, since for me at least it's the most prestigious tournament I've attended, right, from last year and now this year. And it's a tournament I hopefully can attend, that the yearly tournament I can attend for many years to come. So this is basically the combination of things I've got in this deck. I've got in that final Black Lotus. It's extremely optimized. I do have a Loa as well, right? I just chose not to play it here. But what I envision, this is it. Like I said, I may tinker tiny little bit here and there, but there's nothing here that I am compromising on due to price, right? I've got all the cards that I wanted. And then I just gotta go with it, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Thank you for watching.